welcome to the Wrestling Wrap-Up presented by the Anything But Credible Network. It's your boys, Tricky and Thomas. Thomas, how you doing?
I am doing peachy keen on this fine winter day. How are you, Tricky?
I am doing fan-fucking-tastic. I did a bunch of mushrooms last night and watched wrestling, and it was a trip.
That sounds lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I did a little bit of microdosing last night and watching wrestling, just the vibrant colors, especially with the light strips now on my TV. I was just like, whoa, this is wild. And then I stayed up and watched that whole 1975 concert that's on Amazon Prime. That was my Friday night.
Nice.
Today we're going to talk about our top 20 matches of 2022, our top 10 moments of 2022. We're going to get into all that in just a second. But before we jump into that, I think there's a little news to discuss. And I could tell by the look on Thomas's face, he loves the news that came out yesterday. If 2022 was anything, 2023 may be the craziest year in wrestling, even though 2022 was. And that's because we are, 7 days into 2023. And we have Sasha Banks joining New Japan Pro Wrestling, possibly doing AEW, even though Meltzer said that she's not doing it, even though I don't agree. I think she's totally going to end up being Saraya's partner on Wednesday. But the biggest thing is Vince McMahon coming back to WWE, being the cuck that he is, and fucking, I can't. I'm not dumbfounded. I'm just like, of course. What's your take on Vince McMahon basically forcing everybody's hand on the board and bringing himself back into WWE?
Yeah, I mean, Vince McMahon not only brings himself back, he brings back Michelle Wilson, George Barrios. They basically take over the board. You have 3 board spots that go away that accommodate for them. And then you had 2 people who also resigned on top of that, including the lead investigator for the internal investigation. Got to be the least surprising move of those moves for sure. But I think yeah, I mean, this is a guy who his ego is unmatched, probably, or it's certainly matched by other billionaires, I'm sure. But it's ridiculous. He basically held them hostage and said that he would not engage in media negotiations for the new TV rights deal as the primary shareholder, which completely. It reminds me, I think some people put this in our Wrestle chat, but it is the, like, when he brought in the NWO and he said he was going to inject the poison WWE. This is him actually doing that. This is him actually injecting the poison, which is himself. So, yeah, it's, like you said, not a shocking move, not a surprising one. It's definitely in line with what he would do, but just bad for everybody.
Yeah. It blew my mind, especially I think it's a very telling thing when the lead investigator for your internal companies resigns, doesn't get fired. He just literally just is like, I'm fucking out. Like, fuck this. Yeah. That's how you know shit was bad. Like, if he's resigning and doesn't want anything to do with it, shit got bad. And this piece of shit person in Vince McMahon to come back to just sell the company. That's all he's doing. And reports came out about a couple hours ago that JP Morgan has jumped in and to help out WWE looking for a potential buyer. And the fucking leading company to buy the WWE is the Saudi Arabia company that I think that runs Live Golf and like all this other bullshit. Like, of course, Saudi Arabia is going to buy WWE. Of course. Why did I not think of that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know the amount that they pay into the Blood Money in the Sand pay-per-views. So yeah, it is also unsurprising, but like it was a little bit like, oh yeah, like you said, this shouldn't be shocking to us either. But yeah, will we see the Saudi, what is it, Saudi Entertainment Fund or whatever they're called?
Yeah.
Will we see them buy it? It feels more likely than it did 2 days ago. So
Dude,
it's wild.
It's absolutely wild. And, he may not jump in the WWE creative too. He may not do any of that, but it's just like, So many people said that he wasn't going to come back on the board and that there's no way, even Meltzer said there's no way he can come back on the board. It just can't happen like that. And it's just like, if you read the fine print, he put in a bunch of shit in the fine print to where he could come back. And one of those things is the creative of WWE. That's in the contract. Like somebody found it, posted it on the internet or posted it on Twitter. And now you have all these WWE fucking bots who I felt bad for like an hour yesterday. And then I started reading Twitter. I'm like, never mind. I don't know why I did. And then they're like, oh, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. I'm like, you guys were the same people that said he wasn't going to come back and take back over the company. Like, it can happen. And like, it just doesn't bode well. I feel bad for people like William Regal who left AEW to go to WWE. I feel bad for all the hires that got rehired back. Like, what did David say in the group chat where he's like, if Uncle Howdy comes out and Bray Wyatt throws a pie in his face, you know Vince is back. It's fucking
It's true
great.
though. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good point. Like, you do feel bad for the rehires, like regardless of how you feel about how they've been executed, and a lot of them we know have not been executed well. Like, these are people that, just trying to make their livelihood, had an agreement with the new boss, felt good about coming back. In some cases, like, gave up some pretty good opportunities to be
Yeah.
able to come back, and it's messed up, man. Like, it doesn't make you feel good, even if you feel convinced that he has no say in the creative. It still casts that shadow, and you still like you're like, to your point, you said people thought this couldn't happen. Well, if
Right.
this can happen, why couldn't he take back over? He's the owner.
Yeah.
He is the leading shareholder. He makes the rules right now. And I think it's a problem for the entire company,
Oh
and
yeah.
it is an opportunity for AEW, frankly.
Yep. 100%. It is. And Tony Khan's tweeted, everybody's been so nice to me these last 48 hours. I wonder why. People got so mad about that. It's like, that's fucking hilarious. Like
It
that.
is hilarious. Yeah.
But yeah, Vince McMahon back in WWE. Jesus Christ. It just blows my mind. And you
Didn't
know that he
even
wants,
let us have the Rumble. Like, just let
right.
us have the Rumble before you do this nonsense.
I was excited to see Triple H like kind of build towards Mania and see like what he would do on his own, just to see if it would
Yeah,
be any different and how they would kick it up into another gear. But I mean, of course, it'd be the Saudi Arabia group though to buy it because they're gonna overpay to to get it.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
instead, WWE is only worth like a couple billion. It's not worth.
yeah.
It's not going to be worth 10 or 20 billion that Saudi Arabia is
No,
going to pay for it.
no, not even with the media rights.
No,
Like, there's just no way. Yeah,
no. But it's yeah, Jesus Christ, Vince McMahon back. Well, anyway, we're here to talk about the top 20 matches of 2022, and that's what we're gonna do. Um, oh, how was Dynamite, by the way? First timer going to Dynamite.
yeah. Dynamite was fantastic. I mean, literally one of the best live shows, if not the best live show that I've been to. I've been to a few in my time. I mentioned to you over text every single show I've been to. I haven't been to like a ton of wrestling shows, but I would say I've been to about maybe 10, something like that in my
Mm.
life. And every single show that isn't like some local indie show has the Big Show or Paul White or the Giant or whomever he is at the time has been on the roster, and most of the time has been on the show, which is just a wild fact. My first show was August of '96, WCW Clash of the Champions, and sure enough, there he was, the Giant. And here he is commenting. It was his first night on Rampage as the commentator during the New Year's during New Year's Smash, and it was a delight. But the show was wild, man. It was not quite full in the arena, but you didn't notice. I mean, it was loud, it was energetic, people were into it, but people weren't shitty either.
Right, dude, it's insane.
Genuinely cool. Like, it was awesome, and I was right on the ramp. If you rewatch Dynamite, you'll see me chanting for Joe as he's walking out. It's good stuff, man. It was a damn blast.
Yeah, that's you saw a hell of a show, man. Was Jamie Hayter
Hell of
Carter
a show.
Sheeta? Was that show?
No, Cheetah was on Dark, and it was
That's right.
early. But yeah, so no, that was. But we did get the false count anywhere trios
That's
match.
right. God
Just
damn, what
insane.
a match.
Literally the most insane match I've ever seen live.
Yeah.
It was wild.
That was, I mean, maybe it's on my list because that was one of the most insane matches I've ever seen. Like that
Maybe
match
it's
was
on my
great.
list. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's awesome. And they announced St. Louis is getting Dynamite and Rampage on March 29th. Cannot wait. Get tickets go on sale next week.
Awesome.
Or I guess when this airs this coming week. But yeah, I can't
Have
wait.
you had Dynamite yet?
Yeah, we got Dynamite last year for Road Rager.
Oh, because that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that was Tony Khan's like, oh, we're sorry about Full Gear. It's
Like
like
it's
that's not
baked
the
goods. Yeah.
same. It's not the same.
Yeah, that's right.
Give us
I
a pay per
remember that.
view, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kidding. I love you, Tony. All right, top 20 matches of 2022. Like what we did last year, we're just gonna run through the first 10. And when we get to 10, we'll do our top, we'll run through our 5 moments of 2022. And then before we do number 1, we'll do the other 5. That makes sense.
Sounds good.
All right. I guess I'll go first. Number 20 for me, I have Roman Reigns and Logan Paul at Crown Jewel. I mean, I have to give Logan Paul some props here. Dude did a fucking great job in that match.
He did.
I was highly entertained in that match. Number 19, Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville, WrestleMania, night 1. Can't leave it off the list. Match is just too much fun. 2 of my favorite things, jackass and wrestling. Got to put it in. Number 18, FTR versus the Young Bucks 2 on Dynamite from this past year. Just a stellar match where FTR won the AEW. Did they win the tag titles there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember
Oh
if they.
no, they didn't. They didn't.
That was a non-title match. That's right.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember who was champions at the time. Was it Jurassic Express? Probably.
Yeah, it was Jurassic Express. It was right before they lost it.
Number 17, I got Anarchy in the Arena, Double or Nothing. 16, I got Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter at Full Gear. 15, we got the Elite Dark Order at All Out. That, to me, at the time, I was like, no trios match is going to top that match. Was I fucking wrong? Holy shit. But that match, the way that match ends with Hangman and the storytelling at the end of that match was just perfect. And it kind of teased, I think Punk kind of fucked it all up because it totally teased Hangman possibly rejoining the Elite. And it just kind of seems like that story is just kind of pushed to the side for the time being, which sucks. I really want to see it happen. Number 14, we got Sheamus and Walter at Clash at the Castle. At number 13, we got Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho at Full Gear. That match is so much fun to watch.
I forgot about that. I left that match off. I completely forgot about it. But oh yeah, that may have either made my list, but definitely would have made an honorable mention. What a good match that was.
That match is like surprisingly fun. I was not expecting that match to be that good. At number 12, I got Daniel Garcia versus Bryan Danielson, 2 out of 3 falls from Dynamite. And to round it out at number 11, I got Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara, ladder match. Cody Rhodes' last match in AEW. And that will round out my first 10 for the top 20 matches of 2022. Thomas, what do you got?
Well, I'm gonna say as a tiny little spoiler, I have a few of those matches certainly, and I have a few of them in my top 10.
Ooh.
So we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, just very very quickly, a couple honorable mentions: Briscoe's FTR 2, which is a fantastic match, and I just couldn't put it on the list because the other 2 Briscoe's FTR matches, spoiler, are on the list, and I need some variety in here, but it probably should be on the list. Takeshita versus Claudio, Battle of the Belts. Just a nice one. And Aussie Open versus Death Triangle for Dynamite in August, which is a real fun one as well.
Damn, I forgot about that too.
So number 20, I have Claudio and Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door. Not the greatest match by any means, but Claudio's debut and really just like I thought it was a well-told story, and Claudio looked like a beast coming out of it. Number 19, I have Roman and Drew at Clash at the Castle. I loved this match, but the finish ruined it. Like
Yep.
if this match had McIntyre going over, it might be a top five match. But honestly, like it really just put a damper on that match for me, so it drops down to 19. 18 is CM Punk and MJF in the dog collar match. I really enjoyed that match. And obviously, just good and violent. But anyway,
You
first
got
Death
that AFI
Triangle.
song too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. 17, I have Death Triangle and Elite at the full gear match. I really that was another one where I was like, "There's not going to be a better match in this series," and they just kept one upping themselves. Number 16, I have Roman and Logan Paul at Crown Jewel.
Oh damn.
Yeah, that frog splash where he's taking the selfie is just. I mean, and he hit it perfectly. Like everything about it.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was such a cool shot when he was in the air and you see it perfectly. Like it's so
Yeah.
cool.
I have Sammy and Cody in the ladder match from January. It's wild to think that that happened in the last year
Mm-hmm.
with everything else that has happened. I have Roman and Brock in their last man standing match at SummerSlam. As many people, Roman and Brock out at this point, and was by then, and thought they did enough to like make that a really solid match. I thought it was
Yep.
really great. Number 13, I have Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter at All Out. This one probably could have been higher, but I don't know, just where it ended up. But a
Dude,
great match, and probably the best match of All Out.
I feel you there because it was just like I have that so low on my list, and I was like, man, there's so much good wrestling happened
Yeah,
this year.
yeah. I have Hangman and Danielson from January 5th. Next, that was the almost second time limit draw, but just a bloody battle.
Mm-hmm.
And number 11, I have, and again, another one that probably could have gone higher, and maybe time has pushed it down, but I have Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door at number 11, just outside the top 10.
Nice. That might be in my top 10. Spoiler alert. All right, there we go. We rounded out 20 through 11 in a timely fashion. This is the quickest and most smooth podcast that we've ever done. I just jinxed it, and it's going to just slow down from here. So we're going to jump into the first 5 of our top 10 moments now of 2022. For me at number 10, I have the return of Bray Wyatt. This would be a little higher for me if they didn't totally botch the fuck out of everything else he's done since returning. I mean,
And we have to take that into consideration. We have to.
there's no buzz around it anymore. It's completely gone. Like,
yeah.
It sucks. It really does suck. It's like, has he even wrestled a match yet?
He wrestled that live match on the MSG house show.
That's right.
With Jinder, and that was it. Yeah, I love LA Knight, and I think he can be a star. It's the wrong first step for Bray Wyatt. Like,
I agree.
It was just the wrong start, and I think everything because of that is.
It was just weird and random. It's just kind of like, hey, we don't know what to do with LA Knight, so let's just put him in the story that's just being dragged out. Like, it's just like, oh my God, just do the fucking match and get it over with. Like,
yep.
Holy shit, we know LA Knight's not going to win. Like, just get it over with.
Right.
Yeah. At number 9, I have Saraya debuting for AEW. At number 8, I have Chris Jericho turning on Santana and Ortiz on the Dynamite after Revolution, because I don't think anybody really saw that coming. Like, that shocked me when it happened. And the crowd, if you go back and watch that crowd's reaction, just the people's faces in the crowd, it's fucking hilarious. Especially when Hager comes out, then Hager fucking joins with Jericho too. It's just a good turn. That's a really good turn. Number 7, I have Moxley beating CM Punk in under 2 minutes on Dynamite for the AEW World Championship. Another moment that was like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Looking back on it, love it. It's just good. It's just good storytelling. It's like an MMA finish where it's like you're expecting this big thing. But what I really appreciate, the only thing I wish AEW would have done differently is put it at the end of the show. But I guess with that much time left, I guess like it would have been pretty obvious that match would have been very quick. So I guess you couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And at
Yeah, I
number
think the
six,
only way, and I think we talked about it. Sorry, I think we talked
you
about
get
it when it happened, and it was like maybe you put it on at I don't know 9 or 8:30, right?
right.
And then you have one of those extra matches after as like the true main event if you really need something.
Mhm.
But I think that goes, oh, this we're gonna get 30 minutes here. Yeah, that was the only gripe I had about it, but I mean, well executed, very well executed.
Yep. And to round off my top or 10 through 6 for top 10 moments of 2022, I got MJF returning at All Out. Being there in person was one thing because you're just like, I think that's MJF, but like you didn't know for sure. But the Rolling Stones song, the Sympathy for the No Sympathy for the Devil playing, it was literally at the time, it was literally like we're in a movie. We're literally on a movie set
Mhm.
and we're watching a movie play out in front of us. It was so well done. And watching it back, it was again, it was just like you're watching a movie and to be a part of that, it was just for me, it was insane and it was cool. And as somebody said, there was two types of fans there that night that knew that that was MJF. You could tell that was MJF by the way he walks, and for other people, you tell it was MJF by his ass.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. So funny.
All right. What's your 10 through 6 for top 10 moments of 2022?
Well, I have to continue to break the rules. I added a couple of honorable mentions here as well. The Elite returning to Carry On My Wayward Son was when that first hit, it was like, oh my God. And like just everything about the presentation was perfect.
Yep.
I have another honorable mention was Wheeler Yuta initiation into the Blackpool Combat Club. Really kind of the whole thing, but definitely that very last piece before he became a full member, and he just keeps getting his ass kicked, and you can see the fire, and he just comes back, and it just sticks with me. Like it was just so well done. And then my last honorable mention is Wee Man body slamming Sami Zayn, which was bigger than body
Yes.
slamming Andre.
Not
It
not
just
Party Boy?
uh, Party Boy was great too. Um, I have number 10, the Acclaimed finally winning the titles. I think this would be higher if it had happened at All Out.
Yep.
If it happened at All Out, that place just completely comes unglued. It's not that that it didn't happen, that and they righted the ship very quickly, as we know, but it would have mattered just a little bit more
Right.
had it happened earlier. Number 9 is MJF's return. Number 8, I have Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. And in a
Fuck.
normal year, that's probably top 3.
Forgot that
But
happened this
this
year.
is not a normal year.
No.
So that's what I have at number 8. Number 7, I have Sasha and Naomi walking out. The things that have happened from that, like at the time, it felt like, oh, they'll figure it out. And they haven't, clearly. And there's been a lot of stuff that's happened since. And um, including like the revival of the tag team titles. And they're still not where they were when Sasha and Naomi had them, but I think there's positive positive movement forward.
Right.
Um, and number 6, again, probably would have been higher in another year, but is Cody Rhodes' return at WrestleMania. Just a just a fantastic, again, well produced, well done. Not a big secret, but I think there was still some like, is this actually happening?
Right.
Type of vibes happening, and when it did, it was perfect.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, one of those moments on there might be a little higher on my top 10, so we'll see about that in a little bit. Um, but let's get into the top 10 matches of 2022, and I'll start at number 10. At number 10, from Forbidden Door, I have Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. I mean, what a match that was. I don't think was anybody really expecting. I mean, people were expecting that match to be good, but not that good. And
Yeah.
it really showed the talent that Orange Cassidy has and how he can go with literally anybody. He puts on a great match against anybody. Even last night on Rampage or Battle of the Belts, his match against Kip was fucking awesome. And like how David said in our chat, it got me a couple times where I'm like, Kip's winning. Kip's totally winning.
Yep. Yep.
And but Orange Cassidy with Ospreay, that match is just fucking awesome. And it gets the crowd, I mean, just behind Orange Cassidy. And I don't want to say a meaningless match because there was a story behind it, but there wasn't a title in line or anything. But the crowd was into it like there was a title on the line.
Yep.
And it's just that match, and to me, was just pure great professional wrestling, in my opinion.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it was a ride from start to finish, and I think it's like made better by some of the other things. Meaning, like Osprey, we know just fought Omega in an amazing match at Wrestle Kingdom. We know that that match could have happened at Forbidden Door, really pretty
Oh yeah.
easily, and probably is going to happen this year at Forbidden Door, right? Um, and so I think that like to think about, yeah, 6 months ago he was battling Orange Cassidy, who is just we say it all the time. You and I are big Orange Cassidy fans, and we
Mm-hmm.
say it all the time that people that don't get him don't actually watch. They don't. They're people that don't watch the matches, that don't watch him. And he is watching him. So I got to see him against Trent on Rampage, and that match also blew my expectations out of the water. I thought it was going to be a good match because I think both of them are great. But that was probably my second favorite match of the night,
Yeah.
of both recordings. Like it was really, really good. And this match at Forbidden Door, it showed everything that he can do. And it just shows that, honestly, he probably still, even with his current presentation, could be AEW World Champion. But you give him a little bit more of a serious edge, this guy's got all the tools, man.
Yeah.
He's good, and Osprey, like honestly, Osprey this year is on a career like renaissance. He has, I think, done a lot to make good over some of the things that people have said about him in the past,
Yep.
and I think I think this was the start of that.
Yep. Yeah. When I was drunk last night, and not drunk, when I was high last night making my top 20 wrestlers of 2022, I had him at number 10.
Yeah, yeah,
He you're absolutely right though. He has had a career run, like just totally turned his career around. And he has it's like him and Jay White. You hear those names a lot. I feel like you've heard those two names way more than you heard Okada's name from New Japan this
yeah,
past year, which is crazy to think about. So you always hear about Okada, you always hear about Naito or Tanahashi or anybody over there. Um,
yeah.
but you heard those two names, I think, more than anybody from New Japan this past year, without a doubt.
Yeah. I
All right.
think also just a quick note.
Mhm.
I think people probably thinking that Orange Cassidy was going to be on Forbidden Door probably thought he was going to get like Toriano or something like that. And
Mhm.
like the fact that he got Osprey, I mean, it just shows the faith that Tony had in him in the beginning.
Yep. Yep. Well, you know the original plan for Osprey, right?
Hmm.
It was supposed to be Andrade, but because of the contract with AAA, they
Oh, that's
couldn't
right.
do it.
Yeah,
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 which is so stupid.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is Moxley and Brian Danielson at Revolution, and we have our old buddy Bill Regal coming out. And that match was just pure violence. And I realized something about myself making this list, that violence seems to be the theme of the top 10, at least for most of it. I didn't realize how much violence I actually liked, but here we are. I mean, I might as well be Quentin Tarantino, the amount of violence I put in this top 10. But
All GCW matches. That's all it is.
it's all GCW, yeah, all death matches from here on out. So there was a piece in there, and I wrote it down, that when Danielson had Mox in the triangle choke, and Mox is like pulling at his beard and just like
Mhm.
gouging his eyes, and then Danielson just beats the shit out of him just to hold it in longer. I mean, this is the type of match that this was. It was exactly what it needed to be.
Mhm.
Started the Blackpool Combat Club and really ran. I mean, that started the threat of the year, which became MJF finally beating Mox.
Yeah.
And that was really kind of the beginning of that. Now that we know that was not the original plan necessarily, but it worked out that way.
Yeah. Definitely. It definitely did. It's so weird to think that I like the Blackpool Combat Club better without William Regal. That's weird. It's strange. Did not think I would
Yeah,
ever think that, but I just think they needed a breath of fresh air in that group, or they needed to like kind of go their separate ways because it just got stale. in my opinion.
It did. It did.
And
I think that's
this,
totally fair.
yeah, and like now it's like they're like they just look all of them just look motivated to like
Hmm.
really make this work. And
Agreed.
we'll see where it goes from here. But Danielson and Moxley teaming last night on Rampage was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Um, at number 9 for me, I got Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter from Dynamite a couple weeks ago for the AEW Women's World Title. This is one of the best women's matches I think AEW has put on. It might be my number 1 women's match I think I've ever seen in AEW. I said that about Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter when it happened at Full Gear, but then this match happened, and I was like, oh, never mind. I think that's the best match I've ever seen. And I remember Katie was like falling asleep on the couch. I'm like, Katie, there's like 5 more minutes left. Why don't you just stay awake and watch it? She's like, oh, fine. And then when she did, she's like, glad you made me stay awake. That was fucking awesome. Like, Jamie Hayter's cool as shit. I'm like, goddamn right she is. I ordered a Jamie Hayter t-shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees a couple weeks ago. It still has not come in yet. Come on. I want my shirt.
We're doing for wrestling tees. I'm going to blame Southwest for that too.
What'd you say?
As I'm going to blame Southwest Airlines for that as well.
Yeah, pieces of shit.
That's a match I forgot. I wish I hadn't forgotten that match because that was a really great match, and I think it was Sheeta's best match for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Jamie's just come a long way in the last year for sure, but certainly in the last few years. I think it's a hell of a pick there. My number 9 is also a women's match. It's Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch from WrestleMania.
That
This
might be a
match
little higher.
was
Might be a little
a
higher.
real okay. Well, we'll wait to talk about it then. This match was a really solid one, and yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it a little bit higher.
All right. I feel like my number 8 might be a little higher on yours too, because I don't think you've mentioned it yet, unless if it's not on your list at all, maybe. But number 8, I have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell.
Mine is higher, yes.
Okay. Well, wait. What's your number 8?
My 8 is Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory at All Out.
Oh, we're gonna wait on that one. We're gonna wait on that one.
Great.
I love that this speeds up our list. See, I didn't jinx it. I knew what I was doing.
No, we're good.
At number 7, which I think you already mentioned, was Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page from Dynamite. Like you said earlier, it was just violence. It was bloody. You thought I was going to go to the time limit draw again, and it doesn't. But I mean, holy fuck, did they beat the shit out of each other in that match? And it was another match where you thought Hangman was going to drop the title, and he didn't. And I think AEW did a great job of building Hangman through that title run. I think Hangman's title run was really good. I know a lot of people they kind of shat on it at the beginning, but it's like once he started that feud with Lance Archer and then on, I thought he was pretty fucking good as champion from there on out. Like, I thought he did a really good job.
It was going to be as good as the chase it couldn't be. The chase was years long. Like you can't replicate that. But the reign was good. I mean, we talked about it in our best matches last year. Like the last couple matches of 2021 for Hangman were really good.
Yeah,
including the time limit draw with Danielson. So yeah, this match just another brutal, bloody. Reminds you of those Terry Funk, Ric Flair type of matches from from '89. It was really, really well done.
Yep. All right, what is your number 7?
My number 7, you have already mentioned, and you might be surprised that it's this high. It's Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville from WrestleMania.
Yes.
Listen, this match, I think I said it when it happened. Look, you want pure pro wrestling. This wasn't it. You want pure sports entertainment. This was the mecca of sports entertainment. Right?
Yep.
This and Sami Zayn cemented himself as the best sports entertainer in the entire world in this match. This man made Johnny Knoxville look like he was Lou Thesz, but with weapons. I mean, this match that they set up, and it helps that Knoxville, we know, is just game for anything. And it's like, he wants to put his body in as much harm as humanly possible. But what a fun match. It got the crowd like super into everything.
Yeah,
like,
it did.
It was wild. And this is pre-Usi Sami Zayn. We are talking Sami Zayn, who was not there yet, and this again similar to Osprey, this is the launch of his renaissance, and he just showed how good he is at every little thing. And he didn't hold back. He beat the shit out of Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Party Boy. We talked about Wee Man giving him the old body slam. We had bowling balls. We had tables. We had
The fucking hand.
everything.
They even brought the hand
The
out.
fucking hands. I forgot about the hand. They had everything, man. It was one of the most fun matches that of the year for sure, and probably of all time. Like it's just fun, pure fun.
It really is. That's like a match we can show non-wrestling fans and they would love it because it just mixes Jackass so perfectly into that match. And who would have thought that Johnny Knoxville would be the one to get like Sami Zayn noticed? I mean, it got Sami Zayn so much praise after that. Like people
Yes.
refelt like people loved him, but WWE just was not using him correctly in the last like 5 years. I mean, 4 years.
Yeah,
And it kind of made people, including myself, forget how good Sami Zayn really is. And
yeah,
this match and the feud in general made people fall in love with Sami Zayn all over again. Like we're like, oh yeah, this is why we love Sami Zayn. And then the Bloodline feud after that, or the story after that. I mean, it's Sami Zayn. How can you not push him as the guy that beats Roman at this point?
he's got to be. Yeah,
It
yeah,
has to be.
he's got to be.
But real quick, since you brought up Sami Zayn, I rewatched the El Generico Kevin Steen match from Ring of Honor. I think it was their last match. It's if Kevin Owens loses, he would have to leave
Yeah,
Ring of Honor. That match, if you want to talk about violence, that match
yeah,
is fucking outrageous. Like I made
yeah.
Katie watch. She's like, I don't like this. I'm like, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna like it. And you're gonna learn about El Generico. She's like, who's El
Yeah,
Generico? And I'm like, you can't tell by the way he moves around. She's like, oh, it's Sami Zayn. I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
so good.
It is wild to like to go back and watch Generico matches, particularly like the hardcore matches. I mean, his stuff his comedy stuff is great too. When you watch, I mean, this man does not care about his body. This man
Mm-mm.
puts his body on the line every single time. You forget like just how he's so versatile, and he is somehow more charismatic than Mick Foley.
Yeah.
But it is the comparison that I can think of. We talk about Kingston being Mick Foley. I think Sami Zayn's right up there too, and yet he still has somehow has like more star power. It's really wild.
Yeah, it is. It's insane. If I can make a prediction for next year, I'm gonna say if Vince stays away from creative, I think Sami Zayn might be a world champion by the end of next year.
I think that's a
If not,
total fair assessment.
if
Yeah,
not by Mania. Because the crowd's gonna hijack it. Like WWE
yeah,
pigeonholed themselves again, like how they did with Danielson.
yeah. Yep,
It's gonna happen.
yeah. Agreed.
Uh, my turn, right?
Yep. Number 6, I think.
Yep. Cool. Number 6 from WrestleMania Night 1, the main event. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. You got it on your list?
I don't.
Wow.
And it's partially because it ties into one of my moments,
That's fair.
and it's partially because of WWE's refusal to acknowledge it as a match
They're
ahead
not.
of time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ahead
I
of time.
agree. Yep. Which is so stupid. They would have gotten so many more views. I would not have left my house that night. Like, cause I didn't think he was actually going to wrestle. And then
Yeah,
when I'm literally at a roller rink skating around and
yeah,
I'm looking at my phone and people are like, Austin's wrestling. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm missing it.
yeah,
So I stayed up till fucking Peacock doesn't put it back up until like 3 a.m. So I stayed up till 3 a.m. just to watch that match. But
yeah.
fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin just coming back. I mean, I never would have thought I would see it. Possibly going to wrestle another match this year at WrestleMania. The Texas Rattlesnake, if we can get like one more like run out of Austin, just like 1 year long and just sporadically
Yeah.
come back, I would be
I mean,
all
the
for that.
Goldberg run.
Yeah,
Didn't need to be
seriously.
there every week, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm fucking all about it. But I mean, man, that was just like watching that WrestleMania, something about that WrestleMania this past year. It was one of the best WrestleManias of the last like 10, 15 years. It's up
agreed.
there, probably top 3 WrestleManias of all time. Something about that night one, though, was just like it was cliche to say, but it was like a magical fucking night for wrestling. Like it
Yeah.
was just a great show. If I
And
would,
I thought they did it really well with the night one and night two. I thought they like managed what should have been on each night,
yeah, yeah.
like very well.
Mm-hmm. And then you had Vince taking the worst stunner ever the next night.
Indicative of things to come.
Yeah.
The match is fun. The match is good. It's a brawl. Austin should have taken the shirt off. Loses a little points for that too, but that's okay. It's fine. Um, but it was a great match, and Kevin Owens, man, like just being able to get that. I wish they would have given him the moment of you're getting this match,
Yep.
and it is a match, and it's not the KO show in the main event slot. Like no, it's a match. I wish they would have called it that because I think again, it makes not only does it make my list, it probably makes it makes Austin's return more important. And but that I don't want to take anything away from the match itself because the match was really well done, and people were on the edge of their seats to see
Yeah.
what was happening,
Yeah.
and to just see Austin again. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Right. It's just fucking great. It was, yeah, almost maybe brought a tear to my eye just to see Austin back
I mean,
wrestling.
yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah.
Number
My
6.
number six you mentioned already as well, which is Gunther Walter versus Sheamus at Clash at the
Gunther
Castle.
Walter.
Again, just big meaty men bumping meat, slapping meat, meat all around, and meat just hanging off their chests. My goodness, the chops and just the punches and just the brutality of this match. This was, I mean, just an all-out brawl, and I really enjoyed it. It's like Clash was good up until then. Like it wasn't a bad show. It was only like 5 matches. It
Mm-hmm.
was good until then, and if it just stuck the landing, it might have been the best show of the year.
Yep.
But this match really, really like launched it. One of the few matches that got a 5 from our old friend Meltzer as well. It was just brutality, and it was a perfectly executed match. That's all I can
Yep.
say about it.
I agree. I 100% agree with that. I mean, it was just pure brutality and just the chops in that match. My God, both their chests, how fucking red they are. Cannot imagine taking a chop from Walter, but just the fucking even the whatever the fuck they call it now, but the move from Sheamus where he's just beating the
Oh,
shit.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, the
fuck that.
10 brings of the, yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like make it simple.
I like to call it rope punchy thing. So
Rope
when he
punchy
does rope
thing.
punchy thing, yeah. I got to tell you, just as a side note on that, I was watching the Bills Bengals game Monday night when
Mm,
Damar Hamlin goes down, and one of the first things I saw was Jerry Lawler saying, "Hey, I think it might be cardiac arrest because this happened to me
right.
and he's like, it really feels that way. He ended up being right. But what it made me think of is, oh my God, if I got in the ring with Walter, I would probably experience the same thing from one shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Wild.
it is wild, especially from that hit too. I'm gonna get it way off topic, but it's just that hit didn't look that bad. Looked like a routine
Like that
football
bad?
tackle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was just like the cage of the mask just going in at the right point, like the right
Yeah.
angle. Like it's just a freak accident. Like
Yeah.
nothing you can say, but what a guy to wake up and say who won the game. I'm like, I love that. That's a
I know, right?
fucking that's a
Did we win?
dude's dude. It's a football guy right
uh,
there. Um, before we get into the top 5 matches of 2022, let's quickly run down the rest of our top 10 moments of 2022. At number 5 for me, like you said, Stone Cold wrestling, just Stone Cold being back. I have it on both matches and moments. I mean, it's just a moment I won't forget. The fact that that's number 5 and not number 1 just
no.
blows my mind. I mean, shit, we forgot that it happened. That the summer of 2022 was just nothing but pure chaos. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was insane. At number 4, Oh Scissor Me Daddy Is Born, the Acclaimed that reached like mega star status. All Out, that crowd at All Out. I mean, just losing their shit for the Acclaimed. We'll get into that maybe here very shortly. when we talk about the matches. At number 3, I have MJF's greatest trick that he pulled on CM Punk when he had him hanging on the ropes, and he's like, "Oh, you dumb piece of shit!" Like the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you think he didn't exist, and it was just Punk just bloodied. I mean, that is peak storytelling, in my opinion. That is phenomenal how you can bring it all the way back to Ring of Honor and bring it forward, and now it's something that MJF uses as his own. I It's just great. Number 2 for me is Cody Rhodes returning to WWE. Just another thing I just didn't think that I would see happen this past year. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
a guy that literally has been ripping on WWE for the last several years just goes to show you what a worker he is. If not a modern day Jeff Jarrett, in my opinion, just always working, working, working. And I fucking hate that AEW is making me like Jeff Jarrett. I fucking hate Jeff Jarrett, and they're making me like him. He is so entertaining right now. He's such an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
I hate it. And that I hate his theme song, but fuck, when they mixed it with Jay Lethal's, it fucking goes, man. That song is awesome. It's
I
like,
got to see Jarrett and Lethal at the Dark Elevation taping,
mhm.
and I was like, I'm not going to be into Jeff Jarrett coming out wrestling, and then I was like, son of a bitch, I'm in. Like this
Dude,
is so
yeah.
it's so entertaining,
He
man.
get,
He's so good.
he gets the heat so good. Like last night at Battle of the Belts, like right when it's my world like hits and he comes out with the guitar and that crowd is already just like, fuck you. I mean, it is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Katie is such an evil person that she loves when wrestling fans get sad and upset. So Jeff Jarrett is her new favorite wrestler right now. And I hate it. It's the fucking slap. I'm just calling her slap nuts.
Yeah, that's fair. Totally fair.
And my number one moment of 2022, MJF's pipe bomb. I mean, it's just chef's kiss is perfect. You fucking mark.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, my number five is the pipe bomb actually. So that segued really well. I just extremely well done. Again, maybe in a year that didn't have some real world newsworthy things, it may have been a little higher for me.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, just chef's kiss. I thought he was out for the right amount of time, almost a little long, but
Mm-hmm.
it's only almost a little long because of the other things that were happening
Right.
both on the show and backstage. But they handled it well, I thought. Number four is just like it's the dumbest thing. I'm gonna just say it, but Sammy and Jey Uso hugging at the end of War Games is number four for me because just the build up, the weeks and months of Sami Zayn just doing everything he
Mm-hmm.
could and just trying, and all he wants is Jay's approval,
Dude,
and
the
he
pop
gets
they
it
got was
backstage.
insane.
The, the pop was insane. It's just a nice feel good moment for Sammy because it's all downhill from here. But hopefully not. Hopefully we get a WrestleMania win. But it's all downhill in terms of his relationship with Bloodline. Number three is Austin returning for me. Just insane that it actually happened.
Right.
We've been asking for years and years and years, and we see these other people come back, and it was like Austin's never going to be that one, and he finally did it.
Yep.
And didn't do it in Saudi Arabia. He did it at WrestleMania, and it was
Thank God.
number two is Brawl Out. I mean, look, the media scrum, the Ace, the abiding people, Larry maybe getting hurt, the doors flying, people crying, black eyes being handed out. And CM Punk ultimately leaving, and I have more hope now than I have in a while that Punk might be able to mend some fences.
Mm-hmm.
Though I think Jericho's going to be the toughest sell, frankly. But it changed the landscape of AEW for better and worse. I think there was a
Yep.
little of both, and it was a shame that the elites, I think, had to feel as much, if not, slightly less punishment
Right.
from the incident. But I thought it set up their return well, and I thought they've been handled really well since. And
It was,
so all's well that ends well, but it
yeah.
was a nightmare.
It was wild. I mean, leaving the arena, I was on a high. I was like, that was a great all out. It wasn't better than the last year's. I mean, in
Yeah,
2021, I
yeah,
mean, it's hard to top the ending of 2021's all out. But
yeah.
when I was leaving the now arena, got back to my hotel room, and Katie and I are literally sitting in the room rolling up a J, and all of a sudden, I'm just looking at my phone and I'm watching the press conference. I'm like, the fuck is going on? Like, I think
Yeah.
Punk's losing his mind. And then he started calling out Colt, and my jaw dropped. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then, not to
Yeah.
mention, that shit was so crazy. Fucking Tony Storm called out Thunder Rosa in the same press conference.
Right. Yes. Right. You have the Jericho telling Tony what's happening when he leaves his.
Yeah. It's like
Like
shit's gone
it,
down.
it was
Shit's gone down.
a wild thing. And the most over part of it is obviously the muffin. I mean, let's give credit where credit's due. The muffin, it looks great, clearly tasted great. But we should all promos should have a muffin involved. I think.
I
I
agree.
just
Was it
I still every day when my wife asks me how work is, I say I'm old, I'm tired, I work with fucking children.
said that
So
yesterday.
giving me that at least.
I love that at Full Gear Jungle Boy asked for a muffin.
Yes. My number one is Vince McMahon leaving, which holds a little less water today,
Mm,
but it was never something I thought would happen under any circumstance. I thought you could throw anything at this man and he would never step away, and he did for 5 months. But as we know, that didn't last. But it's a big deal,
yeah.
and it was a big deal, and it is obviously still having ripples into both the product and the real life scenarios they're playing out right now. Yeah,
Yeah. I like that our moments were like different, and like how you had the
yeah,
realism side of it, which I really like. It we covered all areas there. We did.
yeah.
I'm gonna give ourselves a pat on the back on that one. We did a good job. All right.
Great tag team work here.
Hell yeah. Scissor me. All right, back to the top 5 matches of 2022. Number 5. It's my last WWE match on my list. I have Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania Night 1. Um, outstanding, outstanding, outstanding match. I remember watching that live, and just it was right before we went to the roller arena, and um fucking I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, this match is fucking awesome. Like, Katie
Yeah,
and then her friend sat down, and they were both just like, this match is awesome. I'm like, yeah, they're beating the shit out of each other, and it's just a great match. Bianca getting that win. Um, it kind of makes, if that was the plan, which I don't know, I doubt it was at SummerSlam when Becky beat her in like a minute. If that was the plan from the start, good job on WWE. If it wasn't,
yeah.
whatever. But like,
They
just
lucked into it if it wasn't,
yeah,
but it
exactly.
worked out.
Phenomenal
Yeah,
match. Phenomenal.
yeah. I completely agree with you. As I mentioned, I had it at number nine. But just Bianca Belair is something else, and she's so good that they don't know how to work with her. They do
Right.
not know how to push her. They do not know how to make her the star that she is. And I'm just like, give her the Roman treatment, man. Just get out of the way. If you get out of the way, she is what she says she is, and just let her be that. And I think they're trying too hard to be like she's like Cena, and I think they're really trying too hard on that. And but this was a forgetting all of that and how they've handled it in the months since, this was like a crowning moment, and it was really, really well done.
Yep. I agree. All right. What is your number 5?
My number five is the trios match six between the Elite and Death Triangle, the one I saw live, and yes, both recency bias, both being in the arena bias, but oh my goodness, what a match!
Yep.
Just pure brutality, man.
Yep.
And it was something that, like, the only bummer was that I didn't get to see the entrance live.
Oh
I didn't get to
shit. I
see it
didn't
on my
even think
way,
about that.
and like all of us, like collectively realizing that when it started backstage, it was just like, oh man. Um, but everything else, I mean, all six men just put on a clinic. The double the ending. How is it going to end? Is he going to tap? And then you see Kenny in the background. And from my vantage point, like it's just literally diagonal. I just see him on top. Like this man is jumping off of something, and then he hits the one wing angel. And literally, as three hits down, you see him tapping, and it's like, oh man, this was so. It was just so well executed and packed before and after the bell. Just his pure frustration. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how much made it on TV, but he was just like he just played his part so well. But everybody, the Northern Lights double suplex on the freaking on the ramp,
Oh
the
my
suplex was all
God.
the way down.
Dude, Nick
The beam
Jackson
trigger out of the
smokes
tunnel.
Penta. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
like the V trigger
brutal,
was
wild,
dope. Yeah, that match, that's my number 4. So
right?
right into it. It
Sorry, I
was
got carried away, but
no, you're good. It's perfect. Goes right into it. Match 6. The fucking what makes this so good is that Tony Khan got the rights to Roundhouse Rock by John Tesh. I mean, I really hope they don't stop using it as like a build, like as a match rundown. They need to use that on every Dynamite, in my opinion. Like it just something about it adds to the build of the show, and how they keep using it for this is fucking great. And I hope they do more best of sevens. This is fun. The AEW has made it really fun, and they made it feel like a playoff game. They made it feel
yeah,
like you're watching playoffs like happen. And I don't want it to be over. These matches have been awesome. There has not been one bad match yet. And
no,
but match 6, yeah, that match was absolutely insane. Just huge moment after huge moment. So that was my number 4, your number 5. What is your number 3? We're in the top, or no, number 4, my bad.
number four. That's okay. This is my highest WWE match, and it's one we talked about, or we said we're going to save. This is Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell. Again, everything left on this list is pure brutality. And the moment that this man takes off his robe, and you just see his entire chest and upper bicep is
Oh my
just
God.
purple,
That slow
you
reveal.
start to go, is this makeup? Because
Yeah.
it's so gross. It's
Mm-hmm.
so bad. And then they proceed to beat the shit out of each other.
Yep.
And Cody does not, or Seth does not hold back on Cody. Targets the pec the entire match, and Cody pulls it out in just a brutal win. And I was not set on like a 3-match series to start Cody Rhodes coming back with Seth Rollins, and they proved me wrong. And that was a fantastic cap on it.
Right. It was insane. They beat the shit out of each other. That slow reveal for the bruise on his arm is disgusting. I just hope that when Cody comes back, they're not going to do another match. Like put Cody somewhere else. And it seems like that's what they're going to do. And it's like we don't need either of them in that spot right now. Like literally push them away from each other because they're both so good. Fucking, I cannot wait for Mania to get here so Roman can drop one of those fucking titles so we can get it on Raw. Raw severely needs a world title on that show so bad. I can't even. Raw is unwatchable right now, in my opinion.
It is. It
It's
is.
just so bad again. I don't get it. But yeah, that match, fantastic match. Meltzer, that's like Meltzer's favorite match of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Just,
was I just well done. Like, and they took advantage in a way that clearly wasn't like, I mean, this guy knows he's going away, knows he's getting surgery, but they didn't. It's not like they, killed him in the ring either. Like they handled it really well.
right.
Just kudos to that, and kudos to Cody. He's a fucking lunatic.
He
Um,
is.
but yeah, yeah, he's a wild man. I'm excited for him to come back though.
Me too. Top 3. Here we go at number 3 for me, which I have a feeling we're gonna have to wait to talk about this one. Number 3 for me is FTR versus the Briscoes 3 final battle.
We do need to wait for this.
What is your number 3?
Mine is FTR versus the Briscoes Supercard of Honor.
Oh, that's your number 3 also? Oh, well,
the first one.
Oh,
sorry.
the first one. The first one. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
So yeah, so the first match in the Briscoes and FTR trilogy. This is a match you and I were texting about right after. This is a
Hmm.
match where it was like I think we both expected it to be good, and we didn't expect it to be a top three match of the year. And it at that time was the best match I think of the year,
Oh
or at
yeah.
least it was right there, right?
Hmm.
And just the the violence of the match, but the storytelling, the Dax really coming into his own. But I also want to say we give Dax a lot of credit, and not just us, wrestling media in
Yep.
general gives Dax a lot of credit for this year, and it's well deserved. But
Hmm.
let me just say that in these matches, in these three matches, Wheeler has done things that you go, oh shit, he is just as good.
Yeah.
And he basically takes three matches, whatever this time ends up like an hour and a half of total of brutality between these three matches that they have. And Wheeler just spends that entire time beating the shit out of Mark Briscoe.
Right.
Like that is basically his whole strategy is just to beat the shit out of Mark Briscoe and put him in dangerous positions every single time. Uh, so yeah, I just sorry, I wrote a couple of things down from the first match, but it was just something I'd watched matches of both of them, of course, but that one, it, I don't know, it just felt different. It just
Yep.
felt different, and it felt like okay, ROH is here,
Yeah.
and we're ready to go. Yeah, it was a phenomenal match.
Fantastic. Which I just re-signed up for Honor Club because it seems like that they're gonna start airing Ring of Honor on Honor Club. And it makes me wonder, they're gonna have to tape Ring of Honor before one either Dynamite or Rampage. They have to.
I would think so. I would think you put it with Rampage, right? That
Right.
if
It
it's only an
makes the
hour
most sense.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that trilogy of matches is just insane. I'm gonna quickly do this real quick. I have honorable mentions as well. I forgot until I just scrolled down. But um, my honorable mentions for the year were Ricky Starks MJF winners coming, FTR versus the Acclaimed on Dynamite, FTR and the Briscoes 1 and 2, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, Dax Harwood versus Will Ospreay at Road Rager, the Elite versus Aussie
Mm,
Open and Dynamite, and Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia on Dynamite, where Garcia finally wins the Pure
yeah.
Championship.
Yeah.
All right. And now my number two match of 2022, going back to, I think this was in February, even January on Dynamite, MJF versus CM Punk. It was like an hour long because the match ended and they restarted it. That to me, in my opinion, is one of the best matches of story. If I'm teaching a class on
Yeah.
storytelling in professional wrestling, that's the first match I'm bringing up. In my opinion, that
Yeah.
is one of the greatest matches that featured storytelling since Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes at Double or Nothing in 2019. I mean,
Yeah.
they just go. CM Punk was like, this is the CM Punk we remember. Like, this is the CM Punk we all love. But then this is also the MJF that's going to get this is just the fucking future right here. And it's everything that we wish Rock and Hogan would have been if the crowd was silent, like during their match.
Yeah.
Like, this was storytelling to a T. And yeah, that's my number two.
So I heavily debated putting that one instead of the dog collar match. And then again, my violent nature took over. But you're right. You're
You
100% right. If
sadistic
you're looking,
motherfucker.
I know. But if you're looking for pure storytelling and start to finish, and remember, Wardlow plays a big role
Yeah,
in the end of that match as well. We maybe forget because again, the Wardlow MJF thing also happened this year.
right.
We didn't even touch on that, but that is it really was just a classic in how you tell a story from bell to bell,
Yep.
and really well done. Yeah, I think it's a great choice that I probably
But violence took
um,
over.
violence took over. Speaking of violence taking over, number two, I surprised myself by having it this high, but is Anarchy in the Arena.
Damn.
Um, I rewatched it this week because I was like, is it what I remember. And
Mhm.
I just the feeling of that match and just the complete brutality and of course the thing that's going to stick with everybody, Eddie Kingston bloody walking down with the
God,
gas
so
can
awesome.
looking like a damn GTA character. But every part of that, the wild thing playing throughout the arena, bringing us back to New Jack, like everything about it was just, it's the best brawl I think I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
And
It's
and
nonstop.
and that, yeah, it's nonstop and everybody plays their part.
Mhm.
There's no weak link. It's one of the last times we see Santana this year. Yeah, just a beautiful chaos and just something that I really loved.
Yep, it's great, and I love when Justin Roberts like, "Ladies and gentlemen, shit's about to hit the fan." Fucking so great. Uh, well, I think it's pretty obvious what your number one is. I think it's pretty obvious what my number one is, and my number one is Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed at All Out. I'm a little biased on this just because I was there in person, and it literally that match made me feel like a fucking little kid again. It made me remember why I love professional wrestling. It made me feel all the emotions. It is legitimately probably my number one all-time favorite match I've ever seen in person. It's Shawn Michaels Bret Hart Iron Man match is probably always going to be my number one because without that match, I would not be a wrestling fan. But this is a close number two, I think, for my all-time favorite matches ever. Um, just the crowd in that match, being in that atmosphere. I was like, nobody was sitting down. Like we were in our seats, like in the corner. We were standing up the whole time. And I was like jumping up and down like a little kid. And Katie's like laughing at me, like smiling. She's like, I've never seen you get like this, like at a wrestling show before. Like I want them to win so fucking bad. And I'm on the fucking show with the scissors and the fucking sign.
That's right.
Um, but it's just that moment. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget being so let down when they lost. I'm just like, like everybody in the building was just a collective sigh. And I felt bad for the women because the next match was the Fatal 4-Way for the women's title where Tony Storm won. That crowd is so dead during that match because it was just, I don't think anybody was expecting the crowd to be like that during that match. Like
Yeah,
that crowd was insane during that match.
yeah.
Um,
It
but
was it, and it does not. And I know it does not compare, but you can watch it. You can see the change happen, like
yeah,
live. You could just see like the atmosphere go. Oh my God, we are all in this together,
yeah.
and we all want this to happen. And the reason it falls to number 8 for me is because it did. And if it
Mhm.
just if they made the title change there, I think you make the change. I think you make the change in the back and you say we got to go now.
Yeah.
And because they didn't, it fell outside my top 3. But it's still like one of the most fun experiences watching on TV. And to hear you talk about it, I mean, it's really truly amazing. Like the fact that you were able to be there for that because it's a wild scene. And obviously the Acclaim super over and now still super over. Um, but I don't want to take anything away from Swerve and Keith Lee in that match who played
Right.
their parts to be.
Hmm.
And Keith Lee just looks so much happier and healthier, of course,
Oh
but he
yeah.
looks so much happier to be a part of AEW. And Swerve is coming into his own.
Swerve is
You know
awesome right now.
my love for Swerve. I don't know that he needs old Parker tugging the chains, Bordeaux, but and giant unnamed man. But I think if anyone can make it work, it's going to be Swerve. I'll say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it was a man. What a great match.
The amount of times the false finishes in that match where you think the Acclaim's going to win and they don't, then you think Swerve and Our Glory is going to win and they don't. I mean, it is a roller coaster of emotions in that match. And that is like bravo to all four of them, but also bravo to Billy Gunn Daddy Ass in that match. He plays his part so well right now, and he is just it's just so much fun watching those three together. They have launched themselves into superstardom. They are shit. You could possibly make them the fucking face of AEW right now because it is so over. Non-wrestling fans are scissoring. People at my work scissor each other now. It's fucking hilarious. It is a total phenomenon, and it all started at that match, like
Yeah,
100%.
It's so awesome, man. It really is,
Mhm.
and well deserved. They earned it. They worked for it,
Mhm.
and it's really wild. To your point on Daddy Ass, the Acclaim came out in between Dynamite and Rampage, and Daddy Ass is first of all, he looks fantastic. He just
Right.
still looks fantastic. Good for him. But he's having the time of his life.
Oh yeah.
There is nothing. There's no one happier in this world than Daddy Ass when he assists people. So yeah, just pure perfection.
Love it. Love it. And your number one?
My number one is the double dog collar match with FTR and the Briscoes at Final Battle. Like this is one of the most disgusting matches that I've seen.
Yeah, it's
And
brutal.
I am not like I didn't think anyway. This like big like death match guy and whatnot. But holy cow, man, this match, and again, like it has the two other matches as the backdrop. The Briscoes are in full desperation mode, which makes it so much better because you are seeing them, they will do literally anything to win this match. And FTR, it starts their descent into what they are now, and they've lost everything now. And I can't wait to see the story that we're telling with that. But this really starts that descent there. But the brutality in this match. There's a spot again going back to Wheeler doing anything he can to end Mark Briscoe's life. There's a spot in this match where he throws him kidney first into a pile of chairs from his neck
Right?
because of the damn dog collar. And I'm just, this man is just trying to kill Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe owes this man money. Um, he just wants to beat the shit out of him. But it was just a spectacle to see. And as someone who's never been like, I watched ROH. I've watched the Briscoes a decent amount, but they've never been like the tip of tops for me. But
Right.
these three matches have really made me push them up my ranks because they
Same.
just showed out. And this rivalry, I'm a little bummed that we got all of it in one calendar year because
Right.
they are the epitome of fight forever, man. I hope we get to see them again sometime soon. And I'd love to see. I know there's issues, whatever. I'd love to see the Briscoes on AEW.
Yeah, I would
And
too.
we can go from there. But man, what a match! It was just uh, carnage, pure
It
carnage.
was pure carnage, pure carnage. And the suplex off the top rope onto the chairs that basically broke Dax's ass. I mean,
Yeah,
holy shit. That and then the table, you think somebody's going through the table and they just jump over the table and just take
yeah,
one of the worst bumps I've ever seen. And it's just like, oh my
yeah,
God. It's
yeah.
fucking wild. I mean, but what a year for wrestling. It has been a phenomenal year for professional wrestling. Those are our top 20 matches of 2022. Um, just outstanding. You got what time you got to get out of here? 5-10 minutes?
About 20.
All right. Real quick, I want to run down my top 20 wrestlers. I'm going to speed through it. I want to see your take on it because I did this high and
Sure.
I looked at it this morning. I'm like, it's pretty accurate. This is like probably what I would do.
Yeah.
Except for I would surprise myself with who I put at number 5.
Okay.
number At number 20, I got the Young Bucks. 19, Chris Jericho. I mean, this dude slimmed down. Got to put him on the list.
He looks
8,
amazing.
he does. Number 18, Samoa Joe. 17, Orange Cassidy. 16, The Usos. 15, Wardlow. 14, Jade Cargill. 13, Sami Zayn. 12, Walter. Number 11, Hangman Adam Page. Number 10, Will Ospreay. 9, Jay White. Number 8, Roman Reigns. I have at number 8 because you got to wrestle more than 5 times a year, Roman. I don't care what anybody says. People can say whatever they want. He is not the best wrestler going right now. He's just not. He work a full year. That's my opinion. Number 7, I have Jamie Hayter. Number 6, Seth Rollins. Number 5, Bianca Belair, who I was like, oh, she deserves it.
Yeah.
Number 4, MJF. Number 3, Dax Harwood / FTR. I mean, but it's really Dax Harwood, let's be honest. Number 2, The Acclaimed. The Acclaimed just took over professional wrestling this year, and they brought back that DX style that was missing in professional wrestling that everybody loves. And at number 1, the guy, in my opinion, that saved AEW this year, John fucking Moxley. I mean, it has to be John Moxley. I think we talked about it over and over. This dude just comes in like, oh, Jesus Christ. Just caught my pen. I put it in the mic. But I just felt like being like fucking who did the headbutt last night? Kip Sabian, yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
But I mean, John Moxley just comes in the clutch when you need him most, and he canceled his vacation to just be like, I'll guess I'll stay and be world champion for a couple months until I drop it to MJF. Like,
Yeah. This man has had a year for the ages. He is Mr. AEW.
mm-hmm.
You know, say what you will, homegrown versus talent from elsewhere. It doesn't matter, man. John Moxley's synonymous with AEW, and he is like he's the flag bearer, and he is the person that they clearly turn to whenever they need anything. And his feud with Hangman, that we're hitting into, coming into next week. I mean, it's really like he's taken that and run with it. Hangman's taken it and run with it. I'm really excited to see it, kind of come to a head there. And he just, but we know about Dax's 2022. And here's the thing about Dax, and I love Dax, and I love FTR, and I don't think that they can have a year like they just had. I think Mox can keep having these types of
Yep.
years.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it stopping. Um, Having acclaimed at number two makes perfect sense, and we saw that organic rise, and we just talked about how that kind of came to be, and I think it's perfect. I'm surprised myself that Bianca's so high, but she's that good. I mean,
Yeah.
I think she should be. It's not that she can't she doesn't show up. She shows up every single time. I think they need to book her better, but they're whatever. She is succeeding despite her booking,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
because she's a megastar, and
Yep.
and she has the potential to be. Um, Seth Seth is just he's another level, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's their MVP right now, and he's the only you mentioned Rob being unwatchable, and it's really anything that Seth Rollins isn't involved in
Yep.
unwatchable. But Seth makes you care, and has somehow through the most ridiculous, silly nonsense, has become like one of the top baby faces on the show again.
Right.
He just is like I don't know, man. He makes everything better. Um, I hope that we get a Sammy. I hope we get Sammy even higher next year.
Yep.
But I think the spot about 12 is right for him. But let's get that WrestleMania win. Yeah,
Let's get it.
I don't know. It's a good list though. It's hard to
Thank you.
find any faults in that list, except number one. I probably would have put Tyrus, of course. But
Fox
no,
News.
no, out of here, man. What are we doing?
God, he's so
I
bad.
almost, as a joke, I almost did put Tyrus versus Cardona versus Murdoch as my number one, for the NWA title, but I decided to switch because I couldn't even hold my own face that long. So
But next year, who do you see on the list next year? Like for me, it's like Ricky Starks is probably going to be in the top 10.
Starks for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think Starks makes a huge leap. I imagine. I'm really hoping that this isn't just a January thing for Danielson, and he just peaks in January every year. I'm really hoping that we get a sustained like Danielson near the top,
Me
and like
too.
just banger after banger. I think it's good that we're going to see probably Danielson wrestle every single week until February 8th. I think that's probably going to aid in that. I imagine Hangman gets back up there as well into the
Yep.
top 10. I imagine Kenny has a renaissance and starts putting himself back to the top of the card as well. I imagine that we start seeing Kenny. He looked invigorated after Wrestle Kingdom.
Yep.
Back as the cleaner and just yeah. I think we see that. It feels like I guess this every year, but I'm gonna guess it again this year and say Montez Ford is going to break out and become a single star for them. I think Walter probably keeps going up. I wouldn't rule out a Walter full title run, a heavyweight title run this year either. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like some other folks that we might see.
I think I
Powerhouse
think Ricky
Hobbs. I
Starks.
think we see Hobbs and Ricky Starks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to get Hobbs back in the mix.
Yep.
Get him back here now, especially now that Darby has the title again. Let him be the one that takes it off Darby and then just go on a crazy run.
Yep.
But yeah, I do think Ricky top 10 for sure. He could be top 5 if you play it right.
I I kind of think Ricky Starks is going to be the one that beats MJF for the title. I think they saw the writing on the wall after Winter is Coming, and they see how over he is after wrestling Jericho. I just think Starks, I think, has to be the one to do it now. It's like you can totally build Starks throughout the summer and have him win it all out.
I agree completely. I think you have two options here, and one, frankly, takes a lot more work than the other. The one that's easier is Starks. I think it's easily laid out. I think you do exactly that. You build him up, you just keep building him up over the summer, and he takes it all out. The only other option to me is Wardlow, but you gotta do some repair on Wardlow.
Yep,
frankly,
I agree.
I mean, I was there live when he got scalped, right? And you, people wanted Joe. They did not want Wardlow.
No.
Like people loved the King of Television, Samoa Joe,
Mm-hmm.
and myself included. And I think Wardlow needs some rehabilitation, get him back to what was working, and then I think he could be the one. But I do think it would take a lot more effort than it would take.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. Totally agree. We did it. We did it in record time, I think.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Zoom's 40-minute bullshit. But anyway, since you got to get out of here, I'll close it out. But where can we find you on Twitter, all that shit, the What's Your Bliss podcast and everything? Where can we find all that?
Yeah. So you can follow the What's Your Bliss podcast. I mentioned last time we're working on a little something. My wife and I are working on a podcast together that we're hoping to debut in the next few weeks. Probably going to be on the What's Your Bliss feed. Not going to be What's Your Bliss,
Nice.
but we're still talking about joy and some fun things as well.
Nice.
But I think people will really like it. I don't want to announce it exactly yet, but I think it's going to be really fun. So follow at Your Bliss Pod on all places where you can follow What's Your Bliss, all social media. You follow me at Thomas_Ragland on Twitter and Instagram. I have taken Twitter, Instagram, and all other social media off of my phone for the month to just give myself a little refresh.
That's good.
But I will probably hit it full force again once the new podcast goes up, and I'll be on to promote our wrap up here as well. But other than that, I'm trying to take a social media break. I found myself really deep, particularly in the TikTok hole, and I said I need to get out of this. So
it's addicting.
Like to get away for a little bit. So I've been relying on Reddit a lot for anything.
Shit, that's hilarious. I need to do that. I just need to get the fuck off Twitter. Psychos. Nothing but it's a fucking cesspool. But you can follow. This will be on the Offended page. Since the last time we spoke, I can't remember if my Facebook had gotten hacked yet. My Facebook got hacked. The Offended Facebook page is no longer being ran by me. It's being ran by the Dominican Republic. And Facebook isn't doing jack shit about it. They haven't even gotten back to me about it yet. But the Offended page on Facebook right now has 32,000 followers now. It has exploded. So instead of just trying to get that page completely deleted, I'm just trying to regain access to it so I can have all these followers on it. So we'll see what happens there. But for the meantime, just on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, you can follow us at Offended Pod. Make sure you go check out anythingbutcredible.com for all your network needs, including Offended, What's Your Bliss, Going Off Topic, Anything But Credible, Movie Merge, Spacing Out, all that good shit. Go check it out at anythingbutcredible.com and give us a like and a follow. You can find all of our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us there. Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trick1042, on Instagram at Trick1042_ now, because that also was a part of the hack from Facebook, fuckers. But yeah, big things moving forward. I'm definitely going to be recording more. I think we found a new time slot to record on Saturdays, which I really like. I feel more energetic. Let's do it. For Thomas, I'm Tricky. This has been the Wrestling Wrap-Up, presented by Anything But Credible, and JustCobbis.com. Make sure to go check that out too. My clothing line. We put out a new shirt this past week. Almost forgot to promote my own thing. www.justcobus.com. Go check it out. Thomas, thanks for coming on again.
Ricky, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.